I am a cross country runner, and today I was out running and I was just praying and I was talking to God. And I was thinking about one day when I got posed the question, if you were in class at school, right, and an active shooter came in the room and they said, stand up if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, would you stand up knowing they would shoot you if you stood up? Would you give your life to be strong in your faith like that? And obviously, I was like, yeah, of course I would. I love Jesus, and part of the commitment I've made is that I would do anything for him, right? And I think a lot of Christians are like minded in this. Like, we have, this thought in our mind, this knowledge in our head. Like, we would be like Paul, we would go to jail for our faith, we would die for our faith, right? And we say all these things. We say, yeah, I would die for Jesus. I would go to these extremes for Jesus. But then we don't go to the things that aren't extreme for Jesus. We say, oh, if someone was going to kill me for my faith, I'd stand up for my faith. But in my day to day life at school, I do this too. There's a kid on the side of the classroom who doesn't believe in God, and I'm scared to talk to him, even though he won't kill me for my faith. He won't persecute me. I won't go to jail for sharing the gospel, but I'm too scared to do that. We say, I'll die for my faith. Oh, I'll go to prison for the rest of my life for Jesus. I will give him all the praise. But we don't take these simple steps. I'm guilty of it too. I do it every day. I'm not even just nervous to talk to someone who doesn't believe in God. I'm nervous to talk to someone who does believe in God, but doesn't follow him as strongly as they should. Why? We need to start to learn, I think, that if we are going to be willing to lay our lives down for Jesus and do these bold, extreme acts, why can't we do these little acts of faith? Why don't we have the confidence to go and to just talk to someone who's not going to kill us? They're not going to kill us. They're not going to put us in jail. They're not going to persecute us. We need to be more bold in our faith. Me too. I'm saying this about myself too. This was a thing I realized about myself today. So let this be an encouragement, because if you really want to die for Jesus, the best way you can prove that is by doing things that you won't die for Jesus. Because if you live in America, or really most safe countries around the world, it is most likely that you will never get to a point where someone's going to walk up to you with a gun and say, if you believe in Jesus, I'm going to kill you. That doesn't happen very often. No one in America is going to arrest you for believing in Jesus. It's not in our Constitution. It's not how the world works for most people. So you're most likely not going to get the chance to go to prison for Jesus or die for Jesus. So instead, let's do these smaller acts of faith that can be just as strong, show just as much love of Jesus, but doesn't require this big sacrifice. Why don't we take these little steps? So I just encourage you to find that person. Find that person that you need to talk to. Find that person that needs encouragement. Find that person who needs forgiveness. Find that person that you need to forgive you, that you need to ask for forgiveness because you've wronged them. Find that place where you were too scared, even though you would lay down your life for Jesus. Go, and I encourage you to do that because God loves you and He's with you through that. And even if it doesn't go right, you are going to find life through this. Even though you would give your life and bring on death, it will grant you life. It will grant you new, joyful life to share the word. Even if it's not this big act, this big, giant palooza, just something small can make a big difference. I remember my personal testimony on this is that I was running with one of my friends on the cross country team, and he believed in God, but he never really went to church. And honestly, I was nervous to bring it up to him, but God nudged me, and I started talking about Jesus to him, and he told me his whole story about his journey with God, and I just gave him some encouragement. I was like, hey, you should go back to church, dude, and get involved in one of these youth ministry programs. There's a ton all around where we live, and you should really try and find God, because I promise you, He will change your life. This was November of 2024, and yesterday I'm so glad to say that he got baptized. And I don't take the credit for that. It was all God. He pushed me to say that, and He led my friend down this path. But even one act like that can lead to this friend of mine who's now saved forever because I went out of my comfort zone one time. Go out of your comfort zone just once. Find that person. I encourage you. And I'm praying over everyone watching this video that you can just find that place. So go out, live for God, and pray. All praise be to Him. All glory be to Him. Have a great, blessed day, and I will see you in the next one, I guess. Peace.